Today, I will be using a full team of Pokemon based on characters from the Kirby series. Special thanks to Animated Destined for the team idea. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below, and I will use it. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. And now, without further ado, let's get right into the battles. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I am using a Kirby team. Very interesting. I have two interesting battles to showcase, as always, and I hope you enjoy them. Now, here's the Corviknight for my Meta Knight pick. Now, I actually did a poll asking everyone whether or not Corviknight or Shiny Pawniard fit Meta Knight best, because personally, I think Shiny Pawniard fit Meta Knight more because of the size and just the fact that Pawniard has the same color. But Corviknight also works because, you know, Corviknight has like the wings, obviously, and it's also a knight, just like Meta Knight, so it makes sense. Both make sense. I think there's a fair argument for both picks. Anyway, I have this specially defensive Corviknight. I just one-shot the Slitherwing. This battle was just dumb. So into the Tyranitar. Now, I don't have Body Press on this set. I'm running a U-turn Defog set because I really needed Defog for one of my Pokemon on this team that was running a Focus Sash. So they're gonna get the defense drop on Crunch, unfortunately. I'm like, well, shoot, I can't really stay in. I have U-turn on this. I have Brave Bird. I have Defog and Roost, I think. I think I already said that, but if not, I'm running Terra Dragon on this as well. So, into my Phalanx here. I thought Phalanx worked really well for like the army of like Waddle Dee because they're kind of like built the same and everything, right? And Waddle Dee typically come in like, well, they don't typically come in groups, but they're like there's like images of like Waddle Dee armies and everything. So, I'm gonna take out the Tyranitar with the close combat. That is not living this. Phalanx has pretty decent attack actually. So this is a no retreat Phalanx. I'm running close combat and I'm running a Poison Jab with Terra Poison, and I'm running Throat Chop on this as well. So into the Scizor. The Scizor was a pretty ginormous threat, so I wanted to get as much chip damage as I possibly could. And it's not like I really had to switch it into Scizor anyway. It's a very strong physical attacker. So, there goes my Phalanx to the Aerial Ace. So, into Wispy Woods. Now, for Wispy, I was torn between this Pokemon and Sudowoodo, but I thought that Trevenant worked better because, Sudowoodo is like a fake tree, right? It doesn't, like, actually have the leaves on its head, and I thought that, Trevenant was like the better pick in my opinion. Although you could definitely make the argument for Sudowoodo. I just thought I'd use Trevenant. So I'm gonna go for the Poltergeist, but the Scizor doesn't have an item. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is why I don't like using Poltergeist in these Wi-Fi battles, because a lot of the time some people don't even run items on their Pokemon. It's so it makes it not as viable as you would use on like another Pokemon like game or something. Anyway, so I'm gonna go for the Hydro Pump and easily take out the Scizor. I outsped it just because I set up the Trick Room on the Trevenant. So this is an Assault Vest Empoleon for King Dedede into the Koraidon. Now I was like, okay, well, I could get off some good Ice Beam chip on this. On this, I'm running Flash Cannon, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, and Grass Knot with Terra Grass. I thought that Empoleon matched King Dedede well because there was also like a Delibird, but I thought, you know, King Dedede is more royal. And like, I have an Assault Vest, and you know the Assault Vest is like red, kind of like the thing that King Dedede wears. They have two Koraidon on this team. I'm like, what? The other one had Flamethrower, but this one's gonna go for the Collision Course, and I'm like, there's no shot that I'm gonna be able to live this at all. So maybe the first one was a special one, and this is like the typical physical one. This is crazy. So into my Spherical for Adeline. I thought I'd add Adeline for this team. I wanted to, you know, put the characters that were in the most series in this game. Like, obviously, Kirby, Meta Knight, King Dedede, the Waddle Dee, everything. So, I wanted to add Adeline just as, like, an extra pick that I had because I grew up with Kirby 64, and, you know, it's a really fun game. And Adeline, I just love her design. So, this Smeargle is a Shell Smash Smeargle, which is pretty interesting. Because you typically see the Hazard Lead Smeargle, right? But this is a sweeping Smeargle with the Focus Sash, which is why I had Defog on my Corviknight. So, putting the Koraidon to sleep with the Spore, I'm running Shell Smash, Spore, and I'm running a Boom Burst on this as well. So, going for that Boom Burst, look at that 2-hit KO. So, the Koraidon stays asleep, thankfully, so I was like, okay, this is really good. I could be able to take it out with the Boom Burst next turn, so I'm gonna get a KO against the Koraidon with the Smeargle. Smeargle doesn't have a good special attack at all. It really is reliant on the on the Shell Smash boost in order for it to do any modicum of damage. I'm also running Terra Normal on this to further boost the power of my Boom Burst. And as for the last move, well, you'll see that in the next battle. So Mewtwo is going to stay asleep. I was like, okay, well, I needed to stay asleep for one more turn, otherwise I'll take it out. But unfortunately, they are able to wake up, and they're going to go for the Ice Beam and take me out. So I was like, okay, well, Mewtwo is a really, really big problem. I do have my specially defensive Corviknight at the end of the day to maybe 1v1 this, but I wanted to send in Kirby first for Jigglypuff, because what Pokemon, be honest, what Pokemon would better fit Kirby? Jigglypuff is literally like a pink sphere, and, you know, people always compare Jigglypuff and Kirby, right? So they're going to Terrasilize their Mewtwo into the Psychic type. They're actually going to go for that Terra Psychic Side Strike. I was like, well, I'm max defense. I should be able to tank it, which I do, but I get flinched. I'm like, why? Okay, so it's King's Rock Mewtwo. That's definitely something. So unfortunately, my Kirby's gonna get taken out, but it's not like my Kirby could do much at all. I was hoping to get off a wish there, because I'm running a stockpile Jigglypuff with Spit Up. I thought that was pretty fitting. So into my specially defensive Corviknight, I thought that I could be able to hopefully 1v1 this Mewtwo with U-turn and everything, but I get frozen by Ice Beam. Oh my goodness. So Meta Knight is currently just a popsicle at the moment. I'm like, okay, well, I'm suspended in midair at the moment, and I'm tanking these Ice Beams at the very least. I knew that Side Strike was going to do a lot of damage, but I do resist it at the very least. I do live that Ice Beam, but I'm still frozen. I'm like, okay, I need to get off this roost. Otherwise, I have a good shot of 1v1ing this Mewtwo, because I could just go for U-turns, and it's going to take 2 U-turns, but I should be able to take it out. So the Mewtwo is going to go for this Ice Beam. I'm able to just live that. I'm like, please, thaw, but I don't. Oh my gosh, that was so unlucky for getting the freeze on my Meta Knight, because it definitely cost me the game, right? But like, I don't know if I had a good chance to like 1v1 this Mewtwo anyway. Guys, I could not beat the person with 2 Koraidon and the King's Rock Mewtwo and Itemless Scizor. I just couldn't do it. This team was, I'll go more into this at like the end of the video, but this team was just, I just couldn't with this team. So into this next battle, they're gonna have a lead Hitmonchan versus a Phalanx. It's fighting versus fighting at the moment. So I'm gonna go for the close combat. Oh man, it just barely misses the KO on the Hitmonchan. That's really unfortunate. I was hoping to snag a KO on this, but they're gonna go for the Ice Punch, and because of my defense drop, it's gonna bring me down to half. Now in comes the Braviary. Now I knew that this Pokemon was gonna take a lot of damage from close combat, except I didn't go for close combat. I went for the Throat Chop just to nab a KO. Also because they had a fighting resist in the back in the Slowbro, and I thought that would come in. So I'm gonna bring in my Jigglypuff versus this Braviary. They're actually gonna U-turn on me. Now on this set, I'm running Stockpile and Spit Up. Spit Up is a pretty interesting move. I'm running max defense and max special attack on this because, you know, Jigglypuff actually has a lot of HP. So with the Stockpile boost, I could increase my defenses, and then with Spit Up, I could increase the power of, based on the amount of stockpiles I have, and it could go up to 300 base power. It could actually be super strong. I'm also running Terra Normal to boost the Spit Up power. Now, this Hydreigon has Flash Cannon. That's really like annoying. I'm definitely not gonna be able to outwall that because it's a Jigglypuff, right? Like, so I'm just gonna swap in my Corviknight to tank this to tank the Flash Cannon. It also covered in case they went for a Dark Pulse, and I did have my Wish up as well. So that's gonna bring me back up to full, and the Hydreigon is gonna go for the U-turn. So that pretty much confirmed to me that they're not like running a choice item on the Hydreigon. Maybe they're running an Assault Vest or something. So into the Iron Treads, I actually went for the U-turn myself, anticipating that they would want to swap out their Hydreigon, seeing the damage that I did to them. So I'm going to bring in my Trevenant here. There really wasn't much that I could handle versus this Iron Treads, because my Empoleon was definitely going to get quaked by an Earthquake, and like, I didn't really want to bring in any of my other Pokemon, so this Trevenant was really the only thing that I had versus this. And they're going to knock off my Citrus Berry, which is unfortunate. I actually didn't explain this set. This is a Trick Room offensive Trevenant. I'm running Wood Hammer, Poltergeist, and Earthquake with Terra Ground on this. So the Iron Treads is going to set up their Stealth Rock. I honestly didn't go for the Earthquake just because I was anticipating them to want to go into their Braviary that could potentially wall my Earthquake, but I'm going to take it out with 2 Wood Hammers anyway. So, you know, that's fine. I took out the Iron Treads. That's okay. Now, they're going to bring back in their Hitmonchan. Man, this low HP Hitmonchan was actually a big problem. So, they're going to take out my Trevenant. I couldn't really, like, do anything much about that because, like, the Stealth Rocks were up, and, like, I had such low HP anyway. I didn't have my Citrus Berry. There wasn't really an opportunity for me to bring in my Trevenant. So they're going to bring in their Slowbro, which I mentioned earlier. Now, I have Grass Knot on this, so I was like, okay, well, Slowbro has really good defense, but its special defense is definitely lower, so I could take advantage of that and go for the Grass Knot. And Grass Knot does really good damage. It almost takes it out, so I was like, okay, that's good. They're going to end up paralyzing me. I can never say that word. They're going to end up paralyzing me with the Thunder Wave, but I was like, that's fine. I'm going to be able to nab a KO on this Slowbro with the Flash Cannon there. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's a really bulky Pokemon that's gotten out of the way. That's good. So they're going to bring back in their Hitmonchan. I do not want to take a close combat from this or like a Drain Punch. So I'm going to bring back out my Corviknight. Now, Hitmonchan gets the Iron Fist ability, so I knew that whatever punching move it was going to go for, it was going to do a lot of damage. And Drain Punch does a big amount of damage. I don't know what this Hitmonchan is running, by the way. If it's running like Punching Glove to boost its punching moves, or if it's running an Assault Vest or something along those lines. But I knew that this Hitmonchan was definitely being really problematic, so they're actually going to swap out their Hitmonchan into the Paldean Tauros, which is their last Pokemon. Now, I just opted to Roost on this turn because I was like, okay, well, I don't think I'm going to Brave Bird because I really wanted this Pokemon healthy because there was Stealth Rocks up, and I really wanted to get off the Defog, so that's basically why I Terastallized, because I really didn't have much for this Pokemon at all. My Empoleon was paralyzed, and it was also going to get absolutely blown away by a close combat, and like, I was really weak to fire, and my defensive Jigglypuff was on a low amount of health. So I'm going to go for the Terra on my Corviknight and defog away those Stealth Rocks. The Iron Treads is taken out, so I don't have to worry about those for the rest of the game. So which means that my Focus Sash on my Smeargle is preserved, and hopefully I could snag a win with it. So they're going to go for the Earthquake on my Corviknight. I didn't really know what item this was running, if this was running not item, sorry, but I didn't really know what moves this was running because I didn't know if this was like close combat or if it just had Earthquake, right? So I'm actually gonna double swap into my Jigglypuff here because I wanted to bait out the close combat, but they're actually gonna go for the Earthquake. That takes out my Jigglypuff, unfortunately. So I was like, okay, well, either they don't have it or they don't want to have their defenses dropped right away. So I'm gonna bring back out my Corviknight. I'm running pressure on this. They're actually gonna reveal that they have Will-O-Wisp now. So I'm like, okay, well, that sucks that my Corviknight is burnt, but like, I do still threaten this with a Brave Bird at the very least, so I'm going to go for the Roost once again, trying to preserve my recovery. I think the biggest mistake that I made in this battle was overvaluing my Corviknight, because like, my Corviknight was really like, it was like the best way that I could counter this Tauros, but at the same time, since I Terastallized, now I'm like weaker to Hydreigon in the back, right? I'm trying to think of how I could play this game differently. Like, this team was really, really problematic to get battles with. Like, I don't think it's like the worst team ever, but for some reason, I just had some horrible, horrible losses. So they're gonna reveal that they had close combat on this. So I'm like, okay, well, that's good that they revealed it because I'm able to just live that, and I'm gonna get off the Roost here. Now, this turn I was like, well, I made a pretty interesting play. So I'm actually gonna get some leftovers recovery, and here I was thinking, well, if they close combat me again, I want to bring in my Empoleon and potentially sacrifice it, and then I could probably set up on this with my Smeargle, because then I could take it out with the Boom Burst since it'll be at -2 special defense. That was my thought process on why I decided to sacrifice my Empoleon here, because it was paralyzed, and like, I really wasn't in a good position versus this Paldean Tauros. So I'm going to bring in my Smeargle here. They're actually going to end up swapping out their Tauros there, and they're going to bring in Hitmonchan. So I'm like, I went for the Boom Burst, hoping that it would take out the Tauros, but it actually does take out the Hitmonchan, which is nice. That was like, you know, Hitmonchan has good special defense, so I was worried that I wouldn't take it out because Smeargle has like base like 20 special attack. So the incoming Braviary is going to close combat me. I'm able to live that because of my Focus Sash, so I was like, okay, this is nice. I'm going to be able to set up the Shell Smash versus this Braviary, which is going to obviously put me in good sweeping potential. I have the best setup that I could have possibly got in the position that I'm in at the very least. So, getting that defense and special defense drop, and I'm going to raise my attack and special attack. So I'm like, okay, well, Boomber should easily be able to take out this Braviary, especially since it went for the close combat to reduce its defenses. So there goes the Braviary. I'm like, okay, that's nice. That's a really good KO. It's down to 2-2 at the moment. I managed to even it out. Now, in comes to Hydreigon. Now, like I said, I'm not sure what item this is running. I was hoping that it would be Terra Steel because that's what most Hydreigon run, but it's actually Terra Ghost. I'm like, no, ah man, that sucks. If it was Terragosa the whole time, then I probably didn't have a chance regardless, because the last move that I'm running is a blue flare, which is really interesting. It's a fire move that I wanted to run because of the steel types that obviously resist me, but I wasn't expecting this High Dragon to be Terra Ghost, that's for sure. And oh my goodness, that +2 blue flare did really nothing. So this is definitely an assault vest. So I really didn't have a chance. But thinking earlier, I should have maybe I should have saved my Empoleon, because the assault vest would have made me handle this Pokemon better. But at the same time, I also needed this Corviknight for the Tauros. I'm not sure. Like, this team was really rough. Like, I had some really rough battles with this team. It was genuinely demotivating. And, like, I don't mind posting losses, but at the same time, I don't want people to assume that I'm, like, really, really bad or anything, right? Or that I'm, like, you know, I'm just, like, incompetent or, like, dumb or whatever. In any case, I thank you all so much for watching. I know that I'm like talking way beyond the screen going black and everything, but if you made it this far, I really, really appreciate it, because not many people make it far like throughout the entire video. So if you made it this far, I really, really genuinely appreciate it. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.